Thank you so much. Foremost, I want to thank the conference committee for organizing this, as well as a thank you to my dear friend Abby for the warm introduction. An ingestion of the jelly keeps the flesh staying warm. A bite, a taste, a swallow can change the trajectory of a life. For the Cruise 2020 campaign, the renowned fashion brand Gucci launched a series of images of jelly cakes embedded with flowers on shining silver trays, millennial pastel hues, and the references of the bygone era of 1950s luxury capitalism. The underbelly of the cake's design, tasty to the eye and flavorful to the tongue, hide the much sinister co-option of capitalism's grip on disability and the valorization of labor. In the initial steps of the campaign, Gucci reached out to Vancouver-based artist Sharona Franklin, also known as, formerly known as Paid Technologies and Hot Crip on Instagram, to work with her for the final campaign. As Art News recounts, Franklin was ignored after Gucci discovered her status as a disabled artist, supposedly ruining the image of a luxe fashion in Franklin's openly critical comments against wellness culture. Unlike Gucci's pristine silver-plated flour jellos, Sharona Franklin's jelly cakes, including her installation Mycoplasma Altar from 2020, are flesh-made food, made artwork. Sharona Franklin is a self-identified disabled artist working on the unceded lands of the Musqueam peoples, also known as Vancouver, British Columbia. Franklin's work ranges from installations, film stills, and Instagram posts, a rhizomatic display of what the artist describes as poetry in visual form. The crux of Franklin's work hinges on the ableism ingrained in the history of wellness culture and the oftentimes racist anti-pharmaceutical positions within the raw vegan community, asking us as the audience, why is it that we pray over food, but we never pray over our own medication? Franklin's cakes look tasty to the eye, but upon a second glance, the dill sprouts, which we can see here, are syringe needles filled with antibody medications. The bright red cherries are kidney beans, and the yellow jelly, a decomposing chamber of edible immunosuppressants and animal cells. The jelly, moldable to its form when setting, but malleable when released, is a structure teetering on the border between stability and collapse. Franklin, in a lecture through the University of British Columbia in 2020, describes the significance of the jelly in her work, highlighting that both the stillness and the movement of the jelly mimic bodily movements, bodies swaying and freezing in postures given the intersection of ability within one's own physical form. The combination of the organic material of the body, being animal cells, mixed with synthetic formulas, medicines including methotrexate, which is an immune system suppressant, and azidothymidine, which is used or was used for HIV/AIDS treatment, coagulate the new frontier of the biological human body, bodies of a striation within the production of medicine, and the ever-increasing demands of exploitative labor through the valorization of capital, or in this case of Gucci, the valorization of art itself. Much like the demands of the artist's expectations to be able-bodied in mounting shows and selling their own emotional labor during interviews and openings, the jelly and Mycoplasma Altar slowly melts over time, which we can see it decomposing on the right here, spilling its contents onto the gallery floor. Mycoplasma Altar demonstrates the multivalent tentacles of drug use in the body through the visualization of systems theory. Systems theory in pharmacology, as Seth Berger and Ravi Iyengar describe, quote, can provide the framework to explore the different types of side effects that a drug can produce, end quote. Franklin visualizes the deconstruction of pharmaceuticals in the body, mixing the auto theory of her own bodily medicines into the biopolitical landscape of the reified gallery work. A visualization of the internal unseen elements that construct a human body juxtaposed against the dominant labor forces of artistic exploitation. Now, the exploration of the intersection of medicine and art is not a new phenomenon here in settler Canada. In 1991, queer artist collective and activist group General Idea, consisting of members A.A. Bronson, Felix Parts, and Jorg Zontel, staged their installation 1 year on AZT at the National Gallery of Canada. Responding to the lack of transparency around the privatized medicine and big pharma companies withholding drug treatments for the public, General Idea supersized the nucleus of homophobic medical policies through the phenomena of, as we see, of the gallery intervention. In 1 year on AZT, an exhibition based off of the experiences of HIV-positive member Felix Parks, General Idea created 1,825 AZT pills made from fiberglass and stacked the sculptures along the gallery walls. The 1,825 fiberglass AZT pills totaled the yearly intake of Parks' own AZT dosage. Now, AZT, also known as Azidothymidine, was the first preliminary medication to combat HIV/AIDS and was approved by the United States for daily usage in 1987. However, not only was the first case of AIDS recorded in Canada in 1982, leaving a 5-year span of neglected healthcare funds and privatized testing markets to flourish while thousands of gay men died alongside big pharma profits. AZT is an incredibly toxic drug to the system, leaving many patients with long-term side effects, including weight loss, nausea, and loss of appetite. A.A. Bronson stated that, quote, "The work was to create a pill environment to reproduce the feeling of your own daily life turning into pill intake," right? Your whole life is just taking pill after pill after pill, to give it a physical sense of what it's like to be surrounded by pills, end quote. In Sarah E.K. Smith's book on General Idea, published through the Art Canada Institute, she observes that the transformation of the gallery space into a visualization of the lived experiences of pill intakes marks a passage of time, externalizing the neglected crisis of HIV/AIDS, the countless deaths of AIDS patients at an inconceivable rate, and the massive profit margins that medical companies acquire from the widespread death amongst the queer community. Both General Idea and Sharona Franklin make visible the interior lived realities of non-able-bodied peoples in tangible space. In turn, galleries pay little to no support for artists who not only must be paid a living wage, but also must be compensated for the medical needs and treatments for the artist to undertake to create the works of art for the gallery shows and in-person interviews. And this is going on with Sharona Franklin currently. Documenting the urgent and rapid transformation of the human body under technopharmaceuticals, transmasculine philosopher Paul B. Bresciato's Testo Junkie describes the first-hand account of the changes that transgender bodies undergo through injecting testosterone for TRT, which is testosterone replacement theory. Bresciato notes that, quote, "We can think of the pill in the case of the birth control as a lightweight, portable, individualized chemical panopticon with the potential to change behavior, program action, regulate sexual activity, control population growth and racial purity, and redesign the sexual appearance of the body that self-administers it," end quote. Regardless of their varied positionalities of gender and age, bodies will undergo fluxes of abilities and experiences which are inherently politicized in the global economy of big pharma, encountering the double-edged sword of advanced technology, providing better lives for individuals with varied care needs, while simultaneously sublimating the human body into the larger game of capitalist exploitation through varied chains of command on the stock market. On February 9th, 2019, Nan Goldin and advocacy group Sackler Pain staged a die-in at the Guggenheim to vocalize the manufactured opioid crisis under the Sackler family dynasty, money which funded their wing at the museum, while 30 years earlier, we can see on the right, ACT UP and AIDS Action Now led a die-in at Toronto Pride, advocating for the government attention to AIDS across North America, while calling for proper healthcare treatments. As Sharona Franklin notes, medicine is ingrained in biopolitical citizenship. Now, I want to end by suggesting the next time we ingest our daily medicines, receive our preventative vaccines, or dissolve our own daily vitamins, let us pause, close our eyes, take a deep breath, and say a prayer for healing. Thank you.